Chapter 35. Emily. I walked slowly back to Reggie's. I'd got so close to having my friend back, and now I'd lost him all over again. And my sister was a liar and a thief who couldn't be trusted. I had to get that button back. I got to the bungalow and opened the kitchen door and went in. "Is that you, Maxwell?" called Reg from the front room. I'd only been gone a little while, so it was easy for him to remember me this time. I went into the lounge, and Reg was sitting in his armchair beside the gas fire. His smile dropped when he saw me. "Whatever is the matter?" he said. I sank onto the sofa and stared at the orange glow of the fire. I've lost everybody," I said. "I've lost my family, my best friend, my dog. I've got nobody here, no one at all." Reg looked at me and slowly nodded. "Ah, I see. I don't know what to do, Reg. I don't know how to get them back. I miss them all so much," I said. Reg's eyes looked all watery. "I'm so sorry, Maxwell," he said. "It's hard when you lose someone you loved." I looked at the man sitting in the chair beside me. "Have you got a family, Reg?" I said. I'd never wondered if he had anybody in his life before. He opened his mouth and then closed it again. I kept silent, waiting for him to carry on. "My wife was called Emily," he said. "We were so happy and we loved each other very much." He swallowed, then blinked a few times as he stared ahead at nothing. "We did everything together. We had such a happy life." I kept quiet. I hadn't thought much about Reggie's life outside of this bungalow. I'd never seen him go anywhere. "We took a trip to Italy once. That was a wonderful holiday," he said with a smile. "Emily's sister Alice and her husband Jack came too. We were the best of friends, the four of us. We travelled around for a whole month. It was wonderful. What a beautiful country. Have you ever been?" I shook my head. Reg was smiling, but his eyes were sad. He went to take a sip of his tea, but changed his mind and put the mug down. Did something happen to Emily?" I asked. Reg cleared his throat and blinked towards the other side of the room for a while. "Emily got sick. Very sick. It was right before her 32nd birthday." I gripped my hands in my lap. "The doctor knew something was wrong right away," continued Reg. "He sent her straight to hospital. They did lots of tests and, well, the news wasn't good." I could see he was very close to crying. I wasn't sure what to do if a grown-up cried. When Mum cried, she usually went into the bathroom and I never really had to do anything. "I'm sorry," I said. That's all I could think of to say. Reg looked over at me. He suddenly looked very old. My stomach churned away and I swallowed away a sick feeling I had in my throat. I didn't want to hear any more, but at the same time I wanted to know what happened. A tear trickled down his cheek. He didn't wipe it away, and I watched it reach his chin, then drop down his shirt, making a little grey circle. "The doctors tried everything. They gave her lots of different drugs, and some of the medicines were so strong they began to make her feel ill as well." His voice cracked, and he wiped at his cheek. I got up and knelt on the floor beside him, reaching over to pat his hand. I'm so sorry, Reg. I didn't know. I'm so sorry," I said. Reg stared ahead. "Alice and Jack were absolutely devastated too. We all tried to be positive, but Emily was so poorly, Maxwell, so very poorly," he said. "I slept in a chair beside her at hospital every night. One evening she smiled at me, then closed her eyes, and the next morning she just didn't wake up." I felt a large lump in my throat as I tried not to cry. I stared at Reg as he wiped the tears from his eyes with his fingers. "I haven't thought all about this for so long," he said. "I thought I'd forgotten." He began to cry properly then, deep, quiet sobs. I sat on the floor beside him and I held his hand and I didn't say a word. I didn't get much sleep that night. I kept thinking about Emily not waking up while Reg was sitting in the chair beside her. The thought went over and over and over in my head, and every time I tried to forget about it, it came back and made my brain hurt. The next morning I was exhausted. I lay on Reg's sofa and looked at the mantelpiece where my portrait of him should have been on display. All that was there was an empty space. I was a nobody now. I didn't exist. I'd never felt so alone.